Our next topic is the implications of the organized sport status referring to the organization. So Luca, let's talk a little bit about that. Can you maybe explain the way how the organization of skateboarding within the sport sector, I would say, works?
All right, Martin, as we were mentioning before, the participation in skateboarding uh, is growing and will grow more and more in the future in every corner of the world. So if you start from that point of view, from that starting point, it's clear that we cannot think anymore about international events where you can just pop in and register. We would end up with like international events with 300, 400 registered skaters.
Basically, you would have to camp there just to register yourself.
And you will never be able to provide fair chances to everyone. I mean, every one of the skaters and the team managers that already competed in the events of the last Olympic season with like 200, 300 skaters saw how hard was for everyone to find their space and for us to guarantee that. So it becomes natural that we start building a structure also for the events. And that structure comes from the national level, starts with the national level. So the whole idea of a national federation that is organizing the sport at the national level, and everything from the competition and athletes to the judges to the coaches are starting their journey into skateboarding from a national level and get funneled up into the international scene is a thing, is how it works. And there's no other way to make it work when you have to deal with such numbers and such complexity as organized sports and as an organized global sport has.
Yeah, and when it comes to judges, for example, you have to start somewhere. You need to learn and start from the ground and work your way up on the ladder, so to say. And there is nothing better than to start on the national level, get the education and work together with the national federation, get to know the athletes, understand the system and the structure on this very basic level, and walk up, rise up with the experience and the time. Now, when we say about this, we should talk about the structure of events, because with the Olympic announcement, they are still independent events, but they are events that we call sanctioned, that provide certain points, and they are part of the structure that you just discussed of the organization, that allow the athletes to qualify and later on basically participate at the Olympics. So let's look on the next slide and focus on this topic. We have some tiers of events. Basically, starting on the blue line on the top, these are the national championships kind of events. Then we have the continental events. Then we have the Olympic qualification events. Then it's World Championship in the gray square, and the Olympic Games as the golden yellow square at the bottom of the page. So Luca, let's talk about a little bit more about this. Can you expand on the structure of the events, the tiering, and why is it important and how it works?
So the structure that you depicted in this diagram is the typical structure that you find in organized sports, and that has, let's say, layers, tiers of events. And it becomes normal that the career of judges, since we're talking about judges, evolves uh, from the national scene, where you actually learn and practice and get the nuts and bolts fixed in the right way. And then you just get inducted into the international competition scene, from continental championship, which are closer in terms of distance and sometimes easier because you know the skaters in a better way. and then you go up. You go to the Olympic qualifier events, that is normally a world tour in most of the sports, and then you have the world championship, where of course it's one a year, and you just get the best judges selected for a world championship. And then from a world championship, of course, you get to the Olympic Games if you're good enough and did enough good.
Yeah, I think I would say like it's something like if you get the driver license, you cannot directly go to the Formula One. It's
Absolutely.
not because that people will say, no, you cannot do it. It just, you would crash everything around you. And you would block the other guys from competing or, you know, riding as well. So,
I mean, the thing is that when you do that job, when you select a judge for an international event, you're taking on a huge responsibility in the first place, because we need to have judging panel that deliver, and not just deliver randomly, but deliver in a specific way, and we are sure that are there doing the job in the right way. And so it is important for us also to be able to see a judge performing in different scenarios and in different tiers of events, facing different challenges before we put him or her in the place where they're gonna be decisive.
Exactly. And it's great that you said it, because every level of the competition, every layer represents certain experiences that are very valuable on the way to the top, so to say, because you need to be able to judge, evaluate, and see the very delicate differences of all levels of skateboarding. Not only to be able to say, hey, this is the best guy and this one is not best, but be able to distinguish everyone fairly at all time. And what we say for judging, you need to do it consistently. The consistency in judging and delivering the results in the same system is very important. Okay, thank you, Luca. So let's go to the next slide.